welcome to Bears Banner. Hey, guy, how you doing tonight?
I'm all right. Can't complain, man. It's Monday. It's
Okay,
Monday, so we
right.
good. How you, man?
Man, I'm doing good. A little tired, but I'm okay. I want to send a happy birthday to one of our co-hosts, Keith Floyd Noah. He just turned 60 years old. So he out doing a little extra celebration.
He out there getting that AARP card.
Yeah, hey, and what's up to Jay won't be able to make it tonight, and I don't believe Quick is going to be able to make it tonight. No, Jay, this is usually a bad night for him, because of the shift that he works. I see we got a comment already out there, guy.
Let's see who we got.
What we got here?
Good shot. Thoughts on Thomas Bryant so far? That's a good start, man.
Okay,
You
you want
you
to
want to start?
jump into that?
I can. I like what he's doing. I mean, me and Bernard and all of us, we text all the time and we talk about like during the game. It's not just during the game. We probably text each other every day. My thoughts on Thomas Bryant is I love the fact that let me just put it this way. People don't understand that when you come from college as that guy and you come into the pros, only a handful of people in the history of the NFL as quarterbacks came in and they were astute enough to be able to decipher a lot of that jumble, even if the play is the same. And then you get up to the line of scrimmage and the stress level. It looks like Brian is putting things in layman's terms, or he's basically making them more accountable. Like, say, if they're running a play, just say if they got a empty backfield and they got two running backs, they got five linemen, two running backs, three receivers, and it's empty. And you know that when the ball is out and all those guys are receivers, it's hot. You got to let it go. He'll probably say something in practice like, okay, what am I doing in this instance? And he's asking questions to see if he comprehends. And when you're able to comprehend, it's just like reading something and not understand it because one word you don't know when you pick up a dictionary. He slowed it down. Something that Bernard talked about, and he's spot on with it. That what he calls a diamond, and we call like the trips, the triple receivers. Instead of moving them closer to the line of scrimmage, he's moving them away. Number one. Number two, when he's snapping the ball, instead of just having happy feet, he's letting it go because it's a timing pass. You see the difference because before Thomas did his thing, guys would hold on to the ball and throw it, and you see a nickel, a linebacker come up and just flush it. Now they're letting it go, and they're getting 5 or 6 yards. But I just think that he's slowing the game down for everybody. It's like keep it simple, stupid, and it's working.
Yeah, hey, great question. The Bears fall yesterday, 30-27 to the Vikings. Thank everybody who's watching tonight on YouTube and Facebook, and I think we on Twitch TV. No, we on LinkedIn. As far as Thomas Brown, I think the change has been very positive. And when I watch Caleb talk about the difference, he's saying, he said one is the communication has gotten better, and it sounded like he was indicating it was simplified. And I did know after the Packers game, Komet made a comment after the game that in the Packers game, this was the cleanest that Caleb's been in the huddle, right? Not in the game, in the huddle. So it made me think that there was some communication problems that was happening in the huddle, which could have been how much verbiage that Shane Waldron was putting on plays, right? Some stuff is just as simple. God did demonstrations of it, but some stuff you just got to make it simple. So I think they showed a lot of improvements because Caleb looked better and they're moving the ball a whole lot better, and he was able to get off, and get some tutties yesterday because he hadn't had any tutties in a few while. So that was good to see. I mean, what else positive you saw from that game? Because it's kind of hard to talk about these games now, guy, because man, we on another losing streak. Fifth or 5-game losing streak.
But it is still a rebuilding process in a sense, And what I'm noticing about keeping things in layman's terms, it's comprehensible. One, what it does is this: you hold the players accountable. But something like I said the last broadcast that they were like, "What can you do?" Asking him, "What you do with offense?" He said, "It's not about me because I can adjust." And I never heard an offensive coordinator say that, because most of those guys are narcissists. And the unfortunate part about it is, yes, it is the pros, but by the same token, you walk into a situation like this and it's like, wait a minute, you don't know that? Well, you've been playing Pee Wee football. You should do this, that, and the other. Now you can see a guy's confidence level go down. But where I see that they're doing with Caleb is they're giving him more responsibility, but they're letting him do him and be a little more comfortable. Now, I didn't like at the very end in the overtime when he held onto the ball too long. It's a rookie mistake, but they're more so that's up to the coaches to be able to talk to that guy and say, hey, dude, you do your progressions, don't see nobody, and you can't run, throw it away. But I like the fact that I really do believe two things. Number one, Thomas has helped to build Caleb's confidence, and you can see it with 300, maybe 80 something yards passing. And the most important part is something we've been preaching about and just very, very disappointed about, but happy, is Komet's in the mix.
Oh, let me erase that. No INTs, zero INT. Yeah, I like that Komet is in there, and like I said, I've seen a lot of positive when it came to this change in offense, and I think the spacing looks a whole lot better from the receiving core. Now I know we was beating up on Kenan Allen yesterday for early in the game, guy between text messages, but he ended up getting it together because I think early on he had dropped a couple of passes. Then there was it was a hot read where they blitzed, and the hot read was him, and the ball actually hit him on the back of his hand because he had not even turned around, and he looked back when the ball hit him and said, "Oh, my fault." So that's like that. That's the little stuff for details that even a veteran like him that you could see that the team itself is lax on, right? Because you should know if you the hot route and the ball came out on time and it hit you. Now let's go back to another play where it was fourth. They went down on a fourth down. And from listening to the press conference, listening to Caleb, and also listening to Coach Flus, it appeared that they had already discussed that they was going to go for it on fourth. But I know from watching the live broadcast, it was kind of hard to figure out where they're going for it because the crowd had started booing or what. But they seemed to indicate they had agreed to go for it. So he took fault for the special teams running out there. But that's the problem with you trying to call plays on defense, that you're not paying attention to the game and you're not communicating to the other coaches. To me, that cost him in that situation because basically Caleb pretty much indicated that he didn't understand the play totally and he didn't want to run the play that they called. And the players didn't want to run it. That was interesting, but I don't think that was a knock on Brown. I think it was just the fact that they didn't have much time to get the whole play because I think the headsets go off around 15 seconds. And so they were halfway off the field. The field goal unit was always on the field. Then they told them to go back on the field and they ran off. They should just call timeout. Timeout. Let's get it together.
And Flus has got this thing about holding on to him like doggone what do you call them? Roblox bucks. You know what I'm saying? It's like this dude, man. I look up, it's almost like you know how you by yourself somewhere, you think you by yourself and somebody tapping the shoulder to freak you out. That's the type of reaction we get when he calls a timeout. It's like, huh? You know, because you just keep holding on to him. But yeah, I think another good thing about that is the fact that I know, yeah, people say, okay, rookies shouldn't be able to audible, they shouldn't be able to do that, this, that, and the other. But when the coaches prepare them well enough, they help them and they'll know what they see. And they may see something at the last second. Like you said, when headphones go off, they may see something like at the last second that's not indicative of. But that comes with time. But the only problem I have, and it just keeps just driving me nuts, it's just every time they show a picture of Flus, he's just got this plain look on his face. And I'm like, dude, it's like it almost seemed like he's not even invested in the game, you know.
Yeah, this is becoming a broken record watching the Bears play every week. I mean, looking at this game, we said they ended up losing 30-27. When they had drove down the field, I was excited to see Caleb get them in that position to actually tie the game. I mean, that was exciting to see all that. But bro, I swear, when they went to kick that field goal, I was numb. I'm talking about to tie it up, right? I was just like, something gonna happen, right? I'm like,
Yeah,
they probably whatever's gonna get blocked, or he gonna miss it, or they're gonna get a false start, right? Then it's gonna
yeah,
be 5 yards. I mean, it was like you didn't get come to expect that something is going to go wrong. So when it went in, you like, man, is there a fortune about to change
yeah,
or something? But I don't know. I was laughing today. Back in the day, they said Murphy's Law. You might as well call it
yeah,
Bruce Law.
yeah. It's a flus law. Anything you do will be messed up. You know what I'm saying? That's sad. You know what? Because if anybody has had a problem with people being upset and talk about firing flus, you don't even need to look at the season. You could just take all you could do is just condense the game to the overtime and just look at that. It just seemed like he just took his headphones off and walked away and snatched all the playbooks and everything and made them fend for themselves. Because true enough, I know people, and I was even saying, I was like, man, you gotta, I was texting, I was like, man, Caleb, you gotta let that ball go. But he's a rookie. I know he's played in money games in college, and I understand that. But I still believe, just even going back to the other QB one that we had here, Mr. Fields, I think they putting too much stuff in his head about, just trust it. But I personally, I would get rid of Flus today. I put Thomas in right now and just let him be the interim coach and see how he does. And knowing him 9 times out of 10, he might end up winning the rest of the games. But the only problem I got with that, if for some way or another Flus got fired tomorrow and they give him that interim head coach and he wins out, there's no reason to interview anybody else.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, I see nothing wrong with that idea. I mean, if you did it, you probably implement it after this game because it's a short week, and then you got extra days to prepare for the next game, with the game being on Thursday. But on
Mhm.
that play you referring to, guy, I think what happened was the Vikings actually did opposite of what they had been doing. They
Mhm.
actually looked like they only rushed 3 guys
Right.
and dropped everybody in coverage.
Coverage,
And,
yeah.
and I think what Caleb got caught up in, two things: one, want to make a big play, and two, he felt he had so much time because they was blocking those 3 guys. It was basically 6 guys blocking those 3, but he held the ball so long at that point that one of them just broke free and made the play. That's the play, like you said. You throw
Yeah.
it away, just go and run and get those few yards, because
Mhm.
the most of the guys had just dropped in coverage. So whatever the depth of your route is that's where they was at. But anyway, hey guy, what did you think he did as far as a play call and Caleb did, of why they wasn't able to, even though they got that sack? It was only 2 sacks yesterday.
Mhm.
How was the Bears offensive line or their offense successful in not surrendering all the sacks? Because they definitely was coming. It ain't like they stopped coming.
It's they're playing faster. I mean, you ever notice, like, what happens is your pedestrian football watcher, they'll see guy snaps ball, guy hands off ball, or guy steps back to pass the look and he goes. But what they don't understand, there's a very large chunk of plays that are run that are timing plays. Timing is essential. Like, remember, I kept talking about this thing, like if you want to reset the button, do like a 2-step drop, because now what happens doesn't allow the defense to kind of get in their progressions as much as set, and you could kind of get some completions and now give Caleb a little more confidence. They're playing much faster. They're not doing this, oh, I'm standing around and let me look around and see what's going on. They're getting the ball, they're staring there, they're letting it go. And it's allowing their offense to flow. They just look like, when it's like that, now your offensive line, if they're a credible offensive line and they're hitting their first blocks, now what happens when you're getting rid of the ball faster, you're allowing these guys who are the powers that be on the line, whichever play it is, to go to the second level much faster and create more blocks, which creates more yards. But they're playing much faster. I think that's the biggest difference. And you can just look at them and tell. Remember, like, it was certain plays that, we would run a play and it's like, oh man, we got negative yards. There weren't really a whole lot of plays that I saw that the Bears made that I didn't feel like they couldn't really. They look like, if it makes any sense, they look like every other football team where you snap the ball and you run it and you get yards, but they're playing faster, much faster.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought they were playing faster too. The last two games, I think they're getting the ball out fast. I think they're breaking and getting to the line much quicker. And then I'm also looking like they probably call two plays. So if they're audible in the play, they seem to be going to the second play versus the quarterback had to look at the and see what play he wants. He doesn't have enough information to sometimes audible to a play that he wants. He might here and there maybe, but the most part he doesn't have enough information
Right.
yet. So it looked like
Right.
they're probably calling two plays, and then if they go see something, he just go to the second play, and they know what the second play is. And now it's just a matter of seeing if this receiver or whoever needs to move, and maybe you do have to change protection a little bit, but they seem to kind of stick with what they call. And I think Caleb, it seemed like it's slowing down. And I like the way they used DJ yesterday. They got him involved as many ways possible. I mean, short plays, long plays. They even had a play where
Passes.
he threw a pass, right? So that was good to see that. I think he had about 106 yards, 7 catches, I believe. And even Kenan Allen was like right, I think right in the 90s. I had to confirm that number.
Let's see. I can tell you right now. Keenan Allen. 86 yards, nine
86
nine
yards.
receptions, 86. DJ had 7 for 106. Komet had 7 for 64. And what's funny is it seemed like a Doomsday in the first half was getting targeted a lot, but I didn't even know he only had 39 yards. I could have swore he had more than that.
Okay. How many catches did he have? About 5 or so?
Rome had 5, yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, but you're seeing, you know what? You're so right about that though, man. What you do is you minimize it. It's almost like you sitting in class and you learn like say geometry, and then all of a sudden the teacher gives you a pop quiz. It's that tenseness. So if you take a quarterback, a rookie quarterback, and you don't feed him the extra information, you give him one play. Now he gets to the line of scrimmage and he sees something. Like, for example, you might see that cover one guy where he's out there standing like this as the ball is snapping. He's sort of moving in. You can kind of see guys come off the line and pop into a cover three. And he knows, because he does understand defense and knows what he sees. It's like, man, if I run this play, I'm either get sacked or throw a pick. But when you give him two plays, now he doesn't have to think about it anymore. It's like, okay, this don't work. Boom, this was going to work. And it's doing less thinking and more execution. I think it's much better for him in these formative years now as a rookie and going forward for his progression of being a better quarterback.
Okay. Hey, I want to, let me see how to do right there. This is what I want to do. I want to bring this play up. This is to me an example of how when you first see it, I was getting my old coaching thinking on where as the play is going on, you like, oh no, you just missed the check down to Swift. Then as you see him throw, you like, no, yes, right? Because he did everything fundamentally wrong, right? He throw a ball and he literally is in the air, but that show how much talent he has. And I know some people, they get caught up on the word generational talent. I mean, I really never thought much on that because that's so subjective, but you could clearly see he's a special talent for sure. But let's run this play, guy.
Okay.
Pressure comes. Gets away from Van Ginkel. Still under pressure. Floats it down the sideline. And somehow Swift finds it. DeAndre Swift didn't locate it at first, and then it dropped in his lap at the 11. First down, Chicago. Well, here's the thing.
Okay.
Yeah, he had another one too where he threw it over the linebacker when it looked like it was going to be a pick. You know what it reminded me of? That 2000 NBA All-Star game at the end when Vince Carter just walked up and put his elbow in it. You were just so shocked. It was like you couldn't even respond to it. When I looked at that pass and I looked at that next pass, I was just shaking my head, man. It's like there aren't too many quarterbacks, even veterans, that could probably make that play. And it's not that I'm saying that he's better than them. He's got a touch, but, sometimes he throws a little high and he misses some marks. But when he makes some plays, man, some passes that he makes are just off the chain.
Yeah, great point, guy, because what I actually was referring to, I'm going to see if I can hit pause in this player where I said initially he missed the check down. on this play. Okay, unfortunately, can we see it on there? Okay, right there.
Yep, right there. Boom.
See, right there. And so he doesn't throw it. And I was like, man, he should have took that check down. But he ran around this guy and eventually recovered. But like I said, to be able, I'm going to run this one more time, to be able to make this throw. And it's not a guy facing you. It's a guy who's running up under the ball. That's what makes it even more amazing because sometimes you could be off balance like that and you throw it into a guy that's you can see his numbers.
Right.
So he got the ability to come back if the ball comes short. In this case, he's running under the ball.
Gets away from Van Ginkel. Still under pressure. Floats it down the sideline. And somehow Swift finds it. DeAndre Swift didn't locate it at first. And then
so guys, we saw another pass that was to Kenan Allen that was also a tough throw, and it was more of like on the hash marks, maybe about, I think it was about 25 yards up the field. Yeah, and the way the ball went, and also initially it looked like it was going to be picked. You know, the angle that you saw on TV. Yeah.
Yep. That was incredible. Now, what I will say is I do understand, and my thing is always like your job as a team is to take the refs out the game. So if there's a bad call, so Keenan makes the great catch. And it looks like, quote unquote, he was in, but they had him step out.
Oh, yeah.
Was it Jefferson in the fourth quarter? It was like the same thing when, I don't know, we blew an assignment, but he was wide open. His foot was almost exactly in the same spot as Keenan Allen was, but they called it a complete pass. But they're saying, no, we can't. But their whole argument was, we can't use the overhead view. It's negated because every team in the NFL doesn't have that camera, so we can't use it. I'm like, well, why not? If that's the case, then don't let them use the camera.
It's funny how some of those little odd rules are subjective to when the refs want to use it. You know, going back, I guess, even to the tuck rule, like most people didn't even know it exists until they decide to use it at that point. But anyway, the Bears offense, I know because they got behind a little bit in this game, but they scored first. They ended up passing more than they was running, more so because of the third quarter. They end up giving up 10 points in the third quarter because the box score. They went into halftime 14-10. They was down 14-10, but they gave up 10 in the third quarter, so it was 24-10. But this is the problem I'm seeing with the Bears. I don't know what you're seeing. I'm actually seeing a defense that has not looked the same since that Hail Mary play. Now, I know since that game, I can't say the Patriots team was a good offense of anything, and I can't say who's the other team they played since then.
Man, you know what?
I can't think of the teams right now, but those were not like those were juggernaut offenses that they faced. And I want to say the Patriots game, they gave up 29. One of the teams were the Cardinals that they gave up. They gave up points to too. It looks like that. I don't know if it's between the Hail Mary play or how they handled the Hail Mary play. The defense, it has been giving up too many broken coverages where you just see somebody running free. Now, some of it could be because Briscoe. Some of it could be that you seem the time Tyreek Stevenson has been reduced since that time. And I don't think the backup is getting it adequately done. But then some of that is just safety play, too, where you're saying, just said there's a guy streaking across the field. Because how many tackles you said that Bayer had?
He had 13 tackles with 11 solos. You had Tremaine Edwards had nine tackles with 4 solos. Edwards had 9 with 3. Owens had 8 with 4. So you got two defense. You got a linebacker, a lineman, and you got 2 defensive backs. Like, you know, we always kind of don't like the fact that the defensive backs are getting more tackles, because if it is, that means that the play is getting to the second level and they're just more so on a stop basis because they're not playing up against the line. But as I talked about before, it's easy for people to say, oh, somebody's injured, next man up. Yeah, that sounds good and it sounds cute and probable, but let's just look at the logistics of it all.
Yeah.
Was it I don't know if it was it Keith or was it Jay that didn't like Brisket say he acts like he sort of plays like he's
That
better
was
than he
Jay.
really is. Yes and no. Here's the deal. Maybe he does kind of think that he's better than he really is, but unfortunately, his role with this team and this defense is much bigger. You could take a guy that's faster, you can take a guy that's bigger, you could take a guy that's stronger, but there's certain intangibles just in his psyche as a human being fits with that defense. And even if you get another guy, sometimes it doesn't equate, man. So, and I understand that Swift's got the ankle problems, and it's easy for us to sit up here and say, man, well, you know what? Yeah, he got an ankle problem. Well, if he playing, he ain't hurt. Yeah, but you should take a guy's got some bad ankles and have him go like this. He's gonna knock about 2 or 3 seconds off his speed. So plays that he's able to get to, he's not going to get to. So that means second level guys, i.e., your defensive backs get more tackles. But hey, the defense they haven't played that well the last 3-4 games.
Yeah, they should have had was it Jordan Addison? Yeah, Jordan Addison. It was at Jordan Addison, right?
Mm-hmm.
He was actually having a hell of a game against them yesterday. I mean, I thought it would be Justin Jefferson, who had only 2 catches. So sometimes you really can't judge an impact of a player just based off a stat that you read, because the impact of that is he's getting a lot of attention his way, and that other receiver was able. It wasn't just him. It was the other guy named Hutch.
He had at Hawkinson. He had 7. See, and that's another thing with the defense, man. When you look at this, I mean, you could have seen the game and saw it, but Aaron Jones had 22 carries for 106 yards at 4.8 a clip. Jordan Addison, 8 receptions, 162 yards. TJ Hawkinson had 7 for 114, and Jefferson only had 2 for 27. So here's the problem. Yeah, Justin Jefferson is that dog, but you're concentrating on Justin Jefferson so much to whereas you're trying to say, okay, I'm gonna let everybody else beat us. Everybody else did beat you, but you didn't make no adjustments to it. That's the one thing that they didn't make defensively. There were some things that we did that kind of helped us out, but we didn't make any adjustments. We just sat out there and said, okay, we're gonna double, triple team and let somebody else. And them 2 dudes was cooking us, man.
Yeah, because TJ, right at the end of the game, TJ made 2 significant plays that actually put them in position to make that field goal. And on both of those plays, he was by himself. He was in the field by himself where there was not even a defender initially on the screen when he first caught the ball. Mm-hmm. That's not supposed to happen. And late in the game like that, or period, really, but late in the game like that, it's almost like, I mean, it was almost like they was playing so soft that they was like playing like, long as they don't get a touchdown, dude, all they need is a field goal. They only need a field goal. So it was almost like they was playing them so soft, like, yeah, we're gonna tighten up once they get, in the red zone. But you giving up big chunks, and it's also, it reminds me of the play where Sam Darnold got shook up a little bit, and it was like maybe 3rd and 10, and a rookie quarterback come on. I mean, what are you doing? You're supposed to blitz that guy. I mean, this guy had threw what? I think they said 1 pass all season. And he looked like he was looking like, man, I don't want to be in here, right? Like, yeah. And he comes in, you not only you don't give him no pressure, you play so deep, so far back that you just give him an easy pass and he completes it and they get the first down. No, you're supposed to get in there, rattle him enough that either incomplete or he might turn it over, right? Because he haven't been playing all year. But that's the kind of breakdown that you're seeing in Flus as a defensive coordinator now as well, right? He's not doing a good job at that the last 4 or 5 games. So this the problem that you see, to me, going into this Thanksgiving game is the Bears defense is giving up too many points. And so all the accolades that we gave them earlier this year, I'm going to actually start saying the Bears defense is mediocre.
Now it is. You know what? And here's the thing. I think a lot of times some of you, younger cats out there get on us old heads like, y'all hard, the game has changed. The concept is exactly the same. You might have a couple new plays in there, but you want to know the difference between the league now as opposed to the league 30 years ago? If you were an offensive lineman, you could not start a game unless a coach could walk up to you and say, I got a fullback. What is he doing here? My Z, where is he going? Which is the hot route? The hot route for the quarterback. Who's his wide guy and what's his role if there's a blitz coming? What does he do? Every player had to know that. So what happens now, you don't have a communication issue because guys know what they're supposed to do. All it takes is just for one guy to screw up and it screws everything up. With our defense, it just looked like when you get guys open like that, there's a miscommunication. When you step on the field and you line up 11 guys on defense before that ball is snapped, you should be able to know in your mind in every scenario, whatever type of route they run, I know exactly where I need to be. If my man is getting beat, I know what I need to do as a safety. If they're like trying to run trap blocks as a defensive end, I'm looking at ways that I get to the quarterback, or even if I have to submarine some offensive players just to let my other guy eat. But you don't see that now. Now guys are going because they're stronger, they're bigger, they're faster, and they're using the speed thing. Well, you see what happens. You go too fast and somebody run a draw. You look great going to the quarterback, but you looking right back at a halfback or fullback running 30 yards to the end zone.
Yeah, you're right. The concepts are still the same. The old thing that we always said is you got to be able to run the football and you got to be able to stop the run. Mm-hmm. And I know Jay always say, hey, who says is a passing league? Says who? I know that's one of Jay's comments. And it's true, because if a team could run on you, smart teams would keep running. Now, what I did get puzzled for a few minutes, the Vikings stopped running at one point. And I didn't understand why, because they was ahead in the game and they kind of just stopped running. And that was after, I think it was at the Aaron Jones had fumbled the ball. Mm-hmm. They kind of like, I don't know, was they punishing him or what, but they kind of stopped running the ball. And then finally, like in the fourth quarter, they started like going back to it. But I wasn't sure why they didn't. But you could see the emerging of guys this year of teams committing to the run. I mean, I believe Saquon Barkley rushed for what about 256 yesterday?
With like a 70-something yard grip for 6 points too.
Yeah. Derrick Henry is having a good season. I mean, both of those guys are on pace. I know Mark Chen had mentioned in a post today, questioning, the value of the running backs. Mark Chen is actually one of the members of Banter Talk Show group. Hey, make sure you hit the subscribe button and so you get the notification whenever we drop new content, and also join Baz Banter Talk Show on Facebook. But Mark had mentioned that I just had a little debate with him about those two players. They were not drafted by those teams. That's the difference, right? I know his argument is about drafting running back, because I pointed out Bijan Robinson from Atlanta hasn't really made a difference. And if you look at as good as Saquon was, he might have got them 2 or 3 more wins in the Giants, but that didn't translate to winning seasons. Right. But now when you get on a team that actually is good, that ability to run takes the load off your quarterback, which is what the Eagles doing. I mean, the Eagles kind of started out a little shaky early on, and now they're looking like a well-oiled machine.
You know what I think the problem is why they stopped running the ball is because they're looking up like, dude, you would have never, the coach is probably like, you probably never in your wildest dreams would have thought, knowing that they're going to double team Jefferson, our guys going to eat the way they're eating. It's one thing for them to get those yards, but it's another thing. I stopped counting the number of plays. I'm seeing these receivers like wide open. So it's like, if I can make a safe pass to these guys and they will always be open, and my guy fumbled the ball right here, it's not necessarily a knock on him, but then now you're looking at percentages. Sure, you're saying you have a better chance of running the ball and getting yards, but in this instance, the way they was burning them dudes, why not pass it?
Because even though we saying Caleb Williams went 32 out of 47 for 340 yards, Sam Darnold went 22 out of 34 for 330 yards, passed for 2 touchdowns, 3 sacks, and hold on, what else he had? He had a passer rating of 116. So even though they got away from running for a while, they was doing a great job passing the ball on the Bears, and the strength of the Bears defense is supposedly their secondary. Now, granted, the Bears did get 3 sacks yesterday, but they should have had more. The Bears just don't have, like I said over and over again, they don't have the closing speed to really bring guys down. Now, Sweat does when he's healthy. I believe he got a sack yesterday, but it's kind of falling off a lot when you get Walker and Javon Dexter. He started out hot, man. We were giving him a lot of praise early on, but that didn't cool off now. I mean, he's been neutralized the last 5 games.
You know what? As I go down here and I look at things, I'm like, what is it that the Bears are doing and they're not able to get things off? What I do is I look at other teams who have like well ahead winning records that do great, and then you watch the game and look at them, it's like, dang, their offense and defense don't look as good as ours, but they keep getting wins. I got 2 significant things. Remember in the text message, it was either around the second quarter, whatever. I was like, when was the last time? You know what? I got to pull this up. But the one thing I'm thinking about that differentiates the Bears from teams that are winning, them dudes keep getting doggone penalties. They had 7 penalties. If you knock the 7 penalties out and turn to like 3, they probably would have won. They probably would have won the game. Now, what happened was, the time of possession. Because at one point, the Bears had a 20-minute to 9-minute advantage in time of possession. And at the end of the game, they only had they had the ball 34 minutes and 24 seconds. And Minnesota had it 33 minutes and 26 seconds, which lets you know the eye-popping stat was great. And if you keep like not paying attention to it, thinking it's okay, and you look up, it just lets you know, man, the defense couldn't stop nobody. Red zone, we were 3 for 3, 7 penalties for 80 yards. They had 5 for 45, but 7 penalties. I think this is the second game where we had about 7 penalties. And that right there, if we can knock off 2 or 3 penalties, it actually gives us a chance to win. And I know people were talking about, hey, you should have went for the 2 points. You should have got the extra point and all this other stuff. But the other intangibles are the ones that are more important. You got to take care of, which doesn't even put you in a situation to have to say, I got to go for 2 points.
Yeah. So 2 of those penalties were spot fouls.
Yeah.
Where they were pass interference that they called Jalen Johnson for 2 pass interference in that game. So those are spot fouls and I want to say both of them gave significant yards to the defense on them. So you had 2 spot fouls, and you had, I believe, two false starts, which is not bad because the false starts were setting them back. And I believe they had a holding penalty.
Yeah.
And I can't remember what the other 3, 4. I don't know what the other 2 were. But hey, you just mentioned something that I wanted to mention as we kind of start winding down on this. So that other play, one, we had some special teams issues yesterday. And so this is a mixed conversation, mixed feelings about this conversation, right? Because on one hand, you had some special team blunders. On the other hand, special team actually created some plays.
Put us in overtime.
So you could literally say special teams cost the Bears 10 points in the game yesterday. And what I mean by that is they had a play where it was a muff punt, and this is strictly on the player because I coached youth football on the Pee Wee level. First thing we say on special teams when a punt is coming, we teach the guys that, we say fire.
Grenade.
The ball. The ball is coming down and you get away so it won't bounce and hit you. So he executed the first part right. He's telling everybody to clear out, but I don't know who he was talking to because there was nobody in front of him blocking. So he was the only person left, and the ball bounced and hit him. They ended up getting 7. Also, they had a blocked field goal for the second week in a row. That is starting to be concerning. And so they didn't fix whatever it was to stop that. Now, on the other side, those are 2 blunders by special team. The 2 positive thing with special team, you was able to execute an onside kick, and also he was able to get a good return. The same guy who had botched it, I think he got, man, it probably was about 50
yards, yeah,
50-yard return that put them in position to get that game closer near the end. So special teams came through at the end. But one thing about football is when you do plays that give up points, that makes it harder. It still makes it harder. It's almost to say they canceled each other out, because this was a high scoring game. Both teams have scored above the league average. One team has 27 and one team ended up in 30, but in regulation, both teams had 27. That's above the league average. That league average is what, about 21, 22 points. And so defensively, in order for you to win, you have to hold teams to 20 or less points. So when you give up 27, it does, the difference now makes the difference is the mistakes. That's the difference, the mistakes.
True. You know what? And you're right about that. And here's something that, and I don't want people to think that I'm just ragging on younger people, because all these younger people really have, it's one thing to look at film on YouTube, and us being older, actually having seen the game in real time or been at the game, and certain things that we can see. Remember when the Houston Oilers used to play in the Dome, and they would get up there and the fans were so loud, them dudes was doing silent counts and they wasn't getting offsides? If you can execute that as a team, be able to get a silent count off without being offsides, you mean to tell me that with the cadence, and you understand when it's on 2 or what I'm going to do, that you can't avoid having a brain fart and getting offsides, or even little stupid mental penalties? Just like just like we say, it's like what's killing us. Okay, we don't have the greatest offense, have the greatest defense, but sometimes them little bitty nuances, like, for example, not getting spot fouls, not making stupid penalties, be able to capitalize on certain things, it kind of sort of, I wouldn't say wash out, but it kind of makes the inefficiencies that we have kind of amplify to something good, because those matter inches mean something, man.
Yeah, agreed. It all comes down to the end of the game, who execute their game plan and who make the least amount of mistakes. That's the difference in an NFL game. I mean, games typically, unless a team make a lot of mistakes or they just really overmatch, most games are won by 6 points or less. So that one mistake could cost you. But the Bears got to figure out how they're going to deal with making sure that they're not getting field goals blocked going forward. It looked like the team's seeing stuff on the left side, and I mean, Braxton Jones was getting pushed back again like he's on a blocking sled, and they end up on the second attempt. They ended up switching Darnell Wright over to the left side on that. But I noticed one thing that they still did was they loaded the left side. They loaded almost all their players on the left side of the field on the next.
It's like, hey, y'all, come on. And it's funny because it's like, you want to make adjustments as a coach, but it's sad if you have some guys on the defense doing that. You sit there with a coach, and it's like, I ain't got nothing in here to even stop that. You know what I'm saying? It's sad. It's sad, but it's true, man. Man, I got nothing for that, though. But like you said, man, those costly penalties and the different brain farts that we get, man, that's costing us games. But I will say, through all the bad stuff that happened, I saw to me, I would say it was a momentous leap, but it was a real nice leap in the right direction at that game, because 1, they were playing faster. 2, they would get more yards. 3, it looked like guys were happy to run routes and run crisp routes. And the most important part is they kept their poise at the end of the fourth quarter, because if it had been another game or two and you'd had your boy Waldron in there, we wouldn't have had the wherewithal to win that game. We wouldn't. He would have probably done some stupid stuff, but at least, you know. So let me ask you a question: do you see us win another game this year?
Man, that's gonna be tough. If we win one right now, the way they're trending, and I'm gonna say because I don't have a little confidence in the defense. I would say it would be against like San Francisco, and
They
maybe
got the brakes beat off of them yesterday.
maybe San Francisco, Seattle. It's possible between those teams you may end up getting it.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard. It's hard to say if they get any more games. Those are two they might get. I think with the division being so tight, everybody else in the division still have playoff aspirations. So they're going to be playing their best game based off the seeding. And the way this is going down is the Eagles are playing so good. The Eagles have actually knocked Washington down, the Commanders, to second place.
Yeah.
So the Commanders is actually going to be in a race with trying to get on there based off how the NFC North does, because you actually could get 2 wild cards from the North.
Right.
Yeah, the wild cards could be the Vikings and the Packers.
It
So
could be.
that's the problem I see with the Bears might not being able to at least get any more wins in the division, because all those teams are in the hunt. And the Lions look like they're actually, if they keep playing the way they are playing, they're going to win the division.
You know what? And it's not from what I see this year, because they're doing pretty good this year. If the Bears are going to win one game, the game that I think that they'll win is they'll win the Detroit game here. That's the only shred of light and possibility of life that I could think of. But the way I look at this table, even with the 49ers, man, because the 49ers, they're a veteran team, but they're going to be playing mad for the rest of the season because they got embarrassed, man.
Yeah, and Brock Purdy, I think, got hurt in that game. I don't know how long he's going to be out. I didn't see the injury report. He went down in that game, and it looked like that window for them is just closing on them. I mean, it's only so long that you got to be able to win. You know, they got to the Super Bowl twice in the last 5 years, and you got to be able to get that. And it looks like they just kind of came back as the same team. And believe it or not, you know, as good as Kyle Shanahan has been, he's blown a lot of games. He's blown games in crucial moments as well. Hey, let's close it up about the offense. I want to get some grades. Now, Caleb had a few passes that he just outright missed yesterday, but even with that, he still completed 68% of his passes in this game. I think 68, 69, somewhere in there. So that was still a good showing. But based off execution points, they improved from last week where they had 19 points. This week they got 27. 27 should be more than enough to win an NFL game. So I'm actually going to give the Bears offense an A.
Yeah. You know what? I'll probably just give them a B+. And the only reason why I give them a B+ is just, and I understand it will play a little catch up at the end. I give them a B+, if not an A-, because you think of a rookie quarterback, 340 yards. He got sacked 3 times for 20. His rating is 103. And the way that he held his poise at the end, before, to go into overtime, you know what? I'll give him a B+.
B+, okay.
Yeah.
He got a grade on it, defense.
I'm giving them. I'm going to give the defense. I'm gonna give them a D. Because I did not like what I saw, man. I did not like it at all.
Okay. Hey, I didn't like what I saw from the defense. I did think there was a lot of missed tackles. You had several pass interference calls. You had about 3rd and 10 against a rookie quarterback, not rookie quarterback, but a backup quarterback who had only thrown one pass all season. You give up
Yeah.
that play. You give up right after that. You give up another play to T.J. Hawkins. You give up actually 2 plays to him on the last drive to seal the game. You give up about a 61-yard run. This is a D.
Yeah, man. It's tough, but it's got to be. It's tough love, man. It's tough love, brother.
Yeah, hey, special teams, man. I had talked this out. I mean, I mentioned some of the stuff with special teams. First team to be able to execute an onside this year is very difficult to do. They did get so that's clutch in that situation to get it. You got 2 field goals. You got 1 block. You did make some mistakes. I mean, these kind of almost offset each other when I start talking about grades. So that brings you to average. I'm just gonna get a defense. I'm not defense, special teams. Let me see if I can find them. I'm just gonna give them a C.
Yeah, I go with like a C, man. It's almost like, yeah, we could penalize them because they had the little muff or whatever it was. But by the same token, that onside kick itself is probably the reason why I'm giving them a C, because nobody else has done it. They were like, 0 for 9 for the league so far? And they did the first one. So just on that alone, because we know the aesthetics of how the kicks are now, where you can't really move the same way that you could before when the ball is kicked off. And what helped them is, the other guy helped us out, but by the same token, we did it. So I give him a C.
Give him a C. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, thank everybody who tuned in tonight to Baz Banner, man. We're missing Jay and Plank and Quick. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention Quick. Quick wasn't able to make it tonight. Quick, I'm getting ready. He's a Illinois high school referee, so they're getting ready for the Prep Bowl. His team is going to be doing, I believe, the Prep Bowl, and I believe the winner of the I'm trying to remember who won the public league this. I think it was Whitney Young.
Oh man, public league football champs.
Yeah, I think it was Whitney Young. I think they might have played or something.
Let's see who we got. Let's see. Scores from playoff semifinals, Chicago public league game. We had Whitney Young beat Kenwood 24-8.
Kenwood. I'm sorry, I said Kenwood. Kenwood. Okay. Yeah, sorry, Jason. I know Jason Williams, who I haven't. Apologize, Jason. I haven't had you on this season. Jason's a former NFL player that played for the Carolina Panthers. He's one of the coaches at Kenwood High School. So they team did advance to the public league championship this year, but they lost to Whitney Young on this past Saturday. So we'll be looking for the Prep Bowl that'll be played this Friday. I think they played the Prep Bowl. I don't think it's at Soldier Field no more. I think it's at Gately or somewhere. I'm not sure where they play Prep Bowl at. But anyway, let's get to the coaches. Man, offensive coach, play calling, execution. Thomas Brown to not only, you said with 3 sacks, give up only 3 sacks in the game to a team that had got a lot of sacks, defensive backs who have been able to capitalize on that. Offense, pretty much no mistakes, no fumbles, no interception. A for the coaching on offense.
I'm with you on that though, man, because a lot of times people look at things a certain type of way, but look at what we've had to deal with. Look at all the stuff that we've had to go through. And for us to come out like that, yeah, I got to give him an A on that. I got to give him an A for sure.
Like you froze up a little bit, guy.
Oh, I got it. I'll give him an A.
Oh, man.
Just because, did I freeze?
Got you, guy.
Uh-oh.
But anyway, when you go to defense and guy could join when he unfreeze, somehow he didn't froze up. But anyway, on defense, when I go to defensive coaching, I thought this is where the disappointment was on defense. I'm gonna get a coaching staff on defense a D. What you got, guy? Hold on. There you go.
Am I back?
You back now? Just gave the defense a D.
Did you hear the offense that I gave? I gave the offense an A. The offense, yeah. But defense, yeah, I give them a D, man. That's
the coach.
I understand it's on the player, but I didn't see any adjustments because all you do is just say, okay, we're gonna keep giving Justin Jefferson a hard time and let everybody else beat us. But when they start beating you, then you got to go ahead and get your dudes to man up. But they get they get a D. I would give them the finger, but
yeah. So even though I gave the special teams a C, but with us grading the coaching, I'm gonna grade the coaching lower for special teams because one, you did as a coach, you did not fix the issue from last week. So you was able to get a field goal blocked again from almost the same exact spot, same spot on the field, almost the same place they blocked it before. Also, for whatever reason it is, if they had talked about that they was going for it on 4th down and you sent the kicking unit out there, if it had already been discussed, then that's on you. You and the head coach somehow not communicating well, but still your unit ran out there when the offense had been clearly told that they was going for it on 4th. So with that, for special team coaching, I'm giving special team coaching a D.
I'm giving them a the coach. Yeah, the coaching. Yeah, that's a little different. I'd have to give them a D on there because they didn't address the situation. Santos is just kicking these line drives from far, man. There's no way in the world as an NFL kicker, you had one kick block, it's one thing, but have it like 2 consecutive games, it's not being fixed or addressed. So yeah, definitely a D.
Yeah, and this the 3rd block of the season because one was blocked in the game where Komet was snapping. So this is actually the 3rd block this season. So they gotta look at that. I'm not saying go out and get a new kicker, nothing like that, but I'm saying you gotta look at that. I know blocking is an issue, but also, you're looking at guys now in the NFL. These guys are kicking 55, 57-yard field goals, 52. Now I know a lot of them are in domes and they're not kicking in the same condition. So granted on that, but we get shaky at the 40 yards. Our percentage, even if the winner haven't got here, our percentage, I think, is around 75 to 72 once we get over 44, 45 yards. So that's a drastic drop-off on that, which now if you're getting blocked, that also start making it like, whoa. And it ain't the distance now only. Is we gonna get blocked if we kicking that because our kicks are too low?
What's really funny too, in this era of football, almost every team has a Janikowski.
Yeah,
Sebastian Janikowski. Every team has got that one guy that's got a leg because you're starting to see like they'll say, oh, he's kicking a 56-yard field goal. It's not they're kicking field goals. They kicking field goals and it's not dropping until they hit the stands. So they got 56 yards and they still got some oomph on it. So yeah.
That's true, right? So we have been in a situation the last 2 or 3 years where we got field goals that are 45 yards and it's barely clearing the bar. It's barely clearing the bar. So that does get concerned based off how the game has changed. And I know when you have kickers here in Chicago, they got to be able to kick in the conditions too.
I was just gonna say that. Yeah, what happens when it starts blowing real the wind? The hawk comes out and it's cold and the ball's a little denser. Then what?
Yeah. So anyway, I'm just saying they got to look at it. I'm not advocating to replace anybody. I'm just advocating to make sure next season you have the best available kicker on your team. It could be Santos. I don't know, but you have to look because it's just the way the game has changed. Like I said, the guy just mentioned, these guys are nailing them far back. And we still, even when it haven't even got cold, we're getting concerned once it's over 40 yards.
Hey, remember when dang, I forget his name just that fast. Who was our guy, man? Like in the 2000s, the kicker, he was money. Oh my God.
Oh, Robbie Gold.
Robbie Gold. Remember when Robbie Gold was up for contract?
Yeah.
What they do, they brought in another kicker. Although Robbie left, and I was one of them dudes, like he should have been able to stay. They should have gave him the money because he was money, but they need to do a situation like this right now at the beginning of the training camp. Ain't nobody a shoe in. You got to earn this job. It may not be Santos. It'd be somebody that can make some kicks without getting blocked. That's for sure.
Right. Yeah, because I think it was I think the odd thing what had happened to Robbie that year was a contract, of course, right, coming up, right?
Yeah.
Really so much people really want to pay a kicker. and he had been on around. Other thing was he missed a couple of kicks and
yeah, he sure did
in preseason that year actually, and but they had competition in right, so they ended up going with what was that, Cody Parkey? I think that's who they ended up going with. The double doink guy. But a lot of people actually also forget, if I remember correctly, Robbie was picked up later that season by the Giants because the kicker had got hurt. He was doing something crazy with an axe and hurt his leg.
Yeah, hurt his leg, yeah.
And Robbie went to the Giants and missed a few field goals. And the Giants cut Robbie Gold. So he had been cut by the Bears and the Giants. And he actually said he went back and looked at tape and realized his approach to kicking had changed. And so by the time the 49ers brought him in, he had fixed the issue. And that's why he was back to Robbie Gold money. But, but that comes with when the team is trying to move away from you. They probably could have told him what it was, but they didn't want to.
Right. It's a business now. And it's like they feel like we ain't got to tell you nothing. And even at vets, sometimes some people don't have the stones to be able to kind of compartmentalize and not let it bother them and just understand they have a job. Guys got egos, man, and they feel some type of way. But what happens is when you feel that type of way and you got an ego and you angry about it, you go to another team and thinking everything gonna be great, and it's not, because you haven't even got past the anger that you had to deal with for getting let go.
Yep. Hey, guy, do you have anything else before we close for the night? I mean, I know, man, we had so much to unpack tonight with the Bears falling, but we had improvement in the offense. We had the decline in the defense. And can we get both units to play at the same time?
All I can tell you guys is if you're not vegetarians, try not to have too much turkey, because that tryptophan is going to give you the itis. But I wish all of you guys happy holidays. May your families continue to be blessed, well, and safe.
Hey, thanks for that. Until now, I don't know if we're going to do a pregame with the holiday and everything, but we're definitely going to do a postgame either Thursday or Friday. It most likely probably be Friday. I know with Thanksgiving, everybody be enjoying the family and all that. But until then, peace.